G'day cocktail lovers, hope you've been keeping well, hope you're ready for another cocktail. As I often do, I often search for themes for cocktails. Sometimes it's literally just a cocktail I want to make. Sometimes when I make these videos, I've made several of them in a row, so I have already drunk several cocktails while I'm making them, so certain words become more difficult for me to say. I have been told that when I become conscious of I'm a little bit drunk, I tend to enunciate even more specifically than normal, and my other half finds that hilarious. She just goes, like some people go, he's slurring his words, he's drunk. She goes, you're enunciating in an exaggerated way, you've had a few drinks. So that may or may not be what's happening now. I refuse to incriminate myself any further. Anyway, I'm looking for themes. Turns out this week is the anniversary of Sir Isaac Newton's birth. Yes, it's Newton's birthday. Famed for that story about the apple landing on his head. And I feel like this tied in. A lot of my North American cocktail making compadres have been really cracking out the Applejack for the fall season in North America. And why not? Applejack is a fine drop. And so I thought, yeah, that's a theme. Everyone else is doing Applejack cocktails and Isaac Newton, apple on the head. I'll do an Applejack cocktail. I'm going to do an Applejack sour because I really like sours and I've never done an Applejack sour. And I think this lends itself both to the warmer weather. So I think where I am, it's just going to be a sour with ice, shake, it's great. And if you're in the colder parts of the world, you could maybe adapt this a little by adding cinnamon, or maybe I'm going to use sugar syrup in this. You might use a cinnamon sugar syrup to make it just that little bit more autumnal and feel a bit more like apple pie. But I'm going to do it for my part of the world where it's just starting to get quite warm. So here we go with an Applejack sour. I don't want anyone to panic. There's not much Applejack left in this bottle. I have another bottle because I knew this was going to run out, so I got some more. But we're going to put 2 ounces of Applejack. Probably leaves me enough to make another drink later. So 2 ounces of Applejack in our cocktail shaker. The Applejack is actually the only alcohol content in this cocktail. Like most sours, it's one spirit and citrus and a sweetener. So following on from the Applejack, I'm going to do 1 ounce of lemon juice that I squeezed a little bit earlier. I'm actually out of my pre-squeezed lemon juice. I'm gonna have to squeeze a few more lemons, but for now, 1 ounce of lemon juice going in. We're also going to add some sugar syrup, 3/4 of an ounce. What does that work out to? 22.5 mils. So whatever your preferred sort of sweetener is, 3/4 of an ounce going in now. The recipe also calls for aromatic bitters. I'm using Angostura, probably the easiest bitters to acquire anywhere. Definitely should have this in your repertoire. So I'm going to do 3 dashes of Angostura bitters. The final touch, technically it's optional. I don't think it is. It's the foaming agent for the drink. Egg white is one of the easiest things to add here. Either half an ounce of egg white, 15 mils, or if you can't be bothered messing around, just 1 egg white. A lot of people don't like using egg white. You can use the juice from like chickpeas or even butter beans, canned chickpeas, canned butter beans. Use half an ounce of that. I'm actually going to use this little product. There are a few products like this. This one's called Wonder Foam. It is great. It doesn't really have a taste, but if you put about 5 drops of this into your cocktail, you get the same foaming effect, 3, 4, 5, as if you have used egg white or aquafaba. We add ice to our cocktail shaker, bang it in hard, as the actress said to the bishop, and shake it around for about 10 seconds. That seems like a very unfulfilling relationship between the actress and the bishop. I should stop talking and just shake the cocktail. If you were using an egg white, I'd suggest doing a dry shake, that is shaking it without ice, and then adding ice and shaking again to chill it, and you get better foam that way. The Wonder Foam doesn't require that, so I just did the shake once with ice, and now I'm going to strain it. I'm using a rocks glass. You could use a coupe, you could use a Nick and Nora, you could use whatever you like. In my case, I'm using a rocks glass. Strain the cocktail in. Nice little foam on top. It's looking very much like a whiskey sour. And now we're going for the all-important taste test, which I'm quite interested in because I've never had an Applejack sour before. So for Sir Isaac Newton, in the name of science, I'm now going to taste an Applejack sour. Well, that's quite nice. I was having a discussion with someone online. They thought that Applejack was meant to taste like apple cider because the original versions of Applejack, and I only discovered this recently, people would, in the middle of winter in North America, put a barrel of cider outside in the middle of winter so it froze. The last thing to freeze is alcohol because it has a much lower freezing point than water. So the water aspect of the apple cider would freeze, and they could drill a hole in it and get the alcohol-rich liquid out, and it was much more potent than apple cider. We distill it these days. I think the freeze distilling is somewhat frowned upon, possibly even illegal, because it's so imprecise. But yeah, so it doesn't taste like apple cider to my mind. But if you added a little bit of cinnamon, as I was suggesting earlier, I think you'd be getting that sort of apple pie flavour going on. Yep, for me, honestly, okay, I'm not making any sense because now I think there is a little bit of that tart apple flavour in there. The two most common apple brandies around are the American Applejack and the French Calvados. The main difference, the French tend to use apples that are more tart, and the Americans tend to use apples that are sweeter. Either way, this is quite a good drop. I like sours no matter what the base spirit is. Whiskey sour is my all-time favourite, but you can do a gin sour, a rum sour, an Applejack sour, and you'll have a good time as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to have a good time finishing this off. I hope you're having a good time out there, looking after yourself, looking after those around you. We need to take a little bit of extra care these days, and this might be my last. As I said, I've clearly done a couple of these in a row now. This might be my last one for this evening because self-care is doing this sort of thing in moderation. I hope to see you again soon. I'll be making more, as I said, not necessarily tonight, but another day. I'll be making some more cocktail videos. I hope you're here for it. If you're not already subscribed, it would be great if you did. Let your friends know, they should be part of it too. And hopefully I will see you again soon. But for now, I'm going to finish this off and I'll leave you. Cheers.